Okay, today we're talking about I can't. This is the number one thing that I hear quite often from women over 35 is I can't lose weight, I can't eat vegetables, I can't go for a walk, I can't motivate myself to do things, I can't say no to cookies and sugar and pizza. So, if you're in this camp and you have been trying to lose weight, I guarantee at some point you have been saying, I can't to yourself. Okay. So, we're going to talk through this today, and you might be surprised by what I have to say by this topic. But I want you to first think about all of the things that you say to yourself, all the I can'ts. And I want you to tell me in the comments, what are the things that you kind of say to yourself? I can't because I'm too busy, or I can't because it's too cold out or too dark out, or I can't prep my food because I don't like vegetables. What do you commonly find yourself saying to yourself on a regular basis? At the end of the call, I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the questions that I got earlier this week. So as you're listening to this, if you do have a weight loss question for women over 35, drop it in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer it, and we can talk through that, okay? So let's talk a little bit about I can'ts today. These are two powerful words that I hear from women all the time is I can't lose weight. And it's always I can't lose weight because I can't go for a walk, or I can't go for a walk because it's too cold, or I can't prep my food, or I'm too busy to prep my food. Listen, if you're trying to lose weight, you can't solve weight loss with I can't. You can't come at it from that perspective. If you're always in the mindset of I can't do something, then you're always going to find yourself stuck and unmotivated and not getting the momentum that you need to lose weight. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Megan Olson, nutrition practitioner. I help women over 35 lose 20 to 50 or more pounds and keep it off for good. And if you're a client of mine, hello. You can probably jump in with some of this stuff that I'm going to be talking about today. Weight loss, we can't solve weight loss with I can't. Trying to solve weight loss with an I can't is always going to keep you in this place of feeling miserable and like you can never do it and like you're always failing. And then you're probably always going to be in the mindset of, well, I'm going to look for a quick and easy solution to get me out of my misery, aka a diet, right? So trying to solve weight loss, the problem of weight loss with food isn't what you should be looking for, right? What you should be looking for weight loss is a new way of thinking, how to stop throwing yourself under the bus every time it gets hard. And I know some of you don't want to hear this, but when you're always coming at the problem of weight loss of, well, let me figure out the food, let me think about how to not eat something, you're always going to be miserable. And when you're miserable, you're not going to want to do something. Most of you are coming at weight loss by making these dramatic overhauls, and you make them overnight. You're cutting carbs, you're trying to eat clean, you're doing keto, counting macros, fasting, calories, meal plans. None of those things fix weight loss, because guess what? Weight loss is an emotional and psychological problem. Weight loss is an emotional and psychological problem. Write it down. It is not a problem of you being broken or too old or having messed up hormones. It is an emotional and psychological problem. Weight loss comes from eating too much food. Why are you eating too much food? You can't solve weight loss and overeating with meal plans, macros, cutting carbs, doing Whole30 and fasting. It doesn't work. It works temporarily, but it doesn't work for the long haul. So if you are somebody who's always in that situation of saying, I can't to yourself, the first step here is for you to start looking for solutions instead of excuses. Ask yourself, why can't I? Many of you have a real negative mindset or outlook or just a pessimistic way of looking at things in your life. So every time a roadblock or a challenge gets in your way of doing something, you immediately throw up the flag and go, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Oh my gosh, it's too hard. Oh my gosh. And you immediately go to the reason why you can't do something. It's an excuse, right? I don't really like using the word excuse, but it's a reason why you can't do something. And so many of you are in that pattern or that habit of saying, well, I can't do that. I just can't do that. I just can't do that. You can't solve weight loss with I can't. So you know you're going to have to do something different here. And it starts with in your head, not with the food on your plate. Okay? When you say to yourself, I can't go for a walk because it's too cold outside. I can't lose weight. I can't cook my food. I can't stop eating cookies. You're making a justification to your brain as to why you are not choosing to do something. Let's think about this and talk through an example. You say, I can't go for a walk because it's too cold outside. You are blaming the cold weather for you not being able to go for a walk. You're letting yourself off the hook when you say that. It's like, oh, it's too cold outside. Well, I just can't do that walk. Scratch that off the list. I don't have to do that today. What? If you want to lose weight, which I know so many of you do, you want to lose weight. I have no doubt that you want to do this. You need to start counteracting the things that are going on in your head, the things that you're saying to yourself. And that starts with asking yourself the most powerful question. Why can't I? Instead of saying, I can't go for a walk because it's too cold outside, you say, why can't I get my walk in? Why can't I put on warmer clothes? Why can't I go on the treadmill? Why can't I go to the gym? Why can't I run up and down the stairs? Why can't I do one lap around the island in the kitchen? Why can't I go for a 10-minute walk? Why can't I go for 3 10-minute walks today? Why can't I talk on a conference call for a walk? Why can't I just walk around the basement during my lunch hour? You see what I'm saying? Like, explore the possibilities, explore the solutions to the problem. Every time something gets in your way, you immediately shut yourself down. That's the problem. It's not the lack of not having a meal plan or lack of not knowing what foods to eat or having to cut out carbs. It's none of that. And this is the one thing I just really want to drill into you today is that it's the mindset of always saying, well, I can't do something, and you stop there. You don't even allow yourself to see the potential for the solutions. Right? So many of you are in that habit of telling yourself why you can't do something and just shutting yourself down. And then you get stuck and then you feel miserable. And then you think life is hopeless and you're never going to change and you're never going to lose weight and feel great. The truth is, if you spent as much time looking for solutions and asking yourself, why can't I? As you do making excuses, you would be transforming leaps and bounds and losing weight. Leaps and bounds. I guarantee it. My clients who have the greatest success are the ones who do this. They're the ones who start practicing the why can't I. They start challenging themselves, right? Like if you showed up, think about this. If you showed up to work and you could never get to work on time and there was always like an 8 a.m. meeting and you were always late and your boss was like, why can't you get to work on time? And you were just like, well, I just can't. I'm too busy. I just can't. It's dark outside. I just can't. Like if you said that to your boss, you would get fired, right? So if it's a work-related situation, you have to start thinking about, well, how can I do this differently so I get to work on time at 8 o'clock? Weight loss is no different. It's the same thought process. It's like, why can't I do that? Why can't I still go for a walk? Maybe it's not a 30-minute walk, but maybe it's a 10-minute walk, right? But so many of us, when it comes to our food and our lifestyle and losing weight, we have literally taught ourselves from doing so many diets that, well, I'm just always going to expect failure. And so I just don't think that any little thing I do is ever going to matter. That belief is the number one reason why you're stuck, because you think that one little thing isn't going to matter when in fact, if you did that one little thing over and over again, it would make a huge difference. My dad used to have this phrase when I was a little girl, because I grew up in Wisconsin. And he used to say, small snowflake makes a big pile. And it's true. Snowflakes are teeny, 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 tiny, right? But they make huge piles, right? During the winter, huge piles. Think of your habits this way. Each little habit you do, these teeny, teeny, tiny, tiny habits that you do over and over again, day after day, week after week, month after month, they add up. They make a difference. But your brain right now is telling you, it's not going to be that much of a difference. And, there must be an easier way. I'm just going to try this other fancy diet gymnastic thing because it's going to get me there. That's not the truth. Why can't I? Why can't I lose weight? Why can't I stop eating the cookies? Right? You have to start challenging yourself with your mindset and how you're thinking about things, not shutting yourself down. You don't deserve that. Cutting carbs doesn't teach you how to motivate yourself when you don't want to do something. A meal plan doesn't teach you how to motivate yourself when you don't want to do something. Macros don't teach you how to motivate yourself when you don't want to do something. Fasting doesn't teach you how to motivate yourself when you don't want to do something. Do you see the trend here? Yet so many of you are looking for the solution in the food. What diet should I do? Do you see what I mean? The food is not the problem here. It's how you're thinking about the walk and how you're shutting yourself down before even exploring the solution. It's how you're thinking about it. It's how you're coming at this problem of weight loss. And for those of you who say, I can't lose weight, ask yourself, why can't I lose weight? We all know what it takes to lose weight. Eat a little less food, eat more protein, eat more vegetables, drink more water, move more. Yet so many of you aren't doing it. Instead, what you're doing is you're out there looking for a diet, doing diet gymnastics. Diet gymnastics are fasting, cutting carbs, doing detoxes, challenges, macros, meal plans. That's diet gymnastics, right? Because you're on the yo-yo cycle. We all know the basics of weight loss. Like, I'm not telling you some major news flash here, right? Like, eat more vegetables. Oh my God, that's such a major news flash. I should eat more vegetables and that's going to help me lose weight, right? Like, I'm not telling you guys major news flashes. So if you're somebody who says, I can't lose weight, why can't you? Why can't you? You know those basics, and if you're not doing them, why aren't you doing them? You got to really ask yourself some of these tough questions and not let yourself off the hook. Why can't I eat more vegetables for the next 6 weeks by adding one to every meal every day? Why can't I focus on drinking more water the next 6 weeks? Focus on just one thing. This is how I work with my clients. When a client comes and works with me one-on-one, we work on one habit change at a time. And until they master that one habit, we layer on the next thing. And while we're working on those habits, I'm challenging their mindset and how they're thinking. And you need to do the same. If you want permanent, lasting weight loss, you need to start challenging yourself and not letting yourself off the hook so much. Listen, diets teach you to restrict foods. Diets do not teach you how to eat like a normal person, how to incorporate the occasional treat, or how to eat pizza, or how to eat holiday cookies, or, how to deal with real life scenarios like eating out, going to a work party, being around family and friends and feeling embarrassed to ask for something different because you don't want to be, that person, right? You already know that when you do a diet, you gain the weight back. So stop doing diets. Diets get you temporary results, not permanent results. I get my clients permanent results because we're working on the lifestyle habits and we're working on changing their mindset and how they think at the same time. And so many of you are wasting so much time and money doing diet gymnastics. And instead of doing these wonky diets and getting a meal plan or a macro coach or doing another challenge, ask yourself, why can't I eat more vegetables for the next 6 weeks? Why can't I just do that one thing? Why can't I go for a walk? Why can't I eat half my dinners for the next 6 weeks? This is where everyone really gets tripped up. So if you're somebody who says, I can't all the time, a diet isn't going to fix, I can't. A diet isn't going to fix your lack of motivation to do things. Fasting doesn't fix that. Keto doesn't fix that. It's here in your head that fixes that. And this is where all women get tripped up. Number one thing, mindset. It's huge. And nobody really talks about this in this weight loss industry. I feel like I'm the only one who's talking about this. Mindset is everything when it comes to losing weight. Okay, so number two, if you're somebody who is constantly saying, I can't, I'm too busy, I can't lose weight, blah, 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 right? Something you need to be thinking about is planning ahead. Planning ahead and thinking ahead a little bit more. Again, this comes back to the brain, nothing else, right? So when I say planning ahead, I don't mean spending hours and hours of meal prepping on the weekends. And I also don't mean working out 7 days a week. I mean being efficient, how you spend your time, and also working smarter, not harder. What many women are doing is they're kind of going through the week and they're kind of allowing things to happen to them. So they have good intentions on Monday, but then by Tuesday, Wednesday, they're getting tired. It's dinner time. They're staring at the refrigerator and going, oh my gosh, what am I going to eat? I don't want to think about any more food. I just want to eat whatever I usually eat and I don't want to have to think about it, right? You're tired. So if you planned ahead a little bit and got ahead of the tired, guess what? You would set yourself up for better success. So maybe on a Friday night or a Saturday or Sunday, when you are your best self, when you have the best intention for yourself, you're sitting down and saying, I always know Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is busy, and I should probably just make a meal ahead of time so it's in the refrigerator, ready to go, ready to be made or warmed up. And that way I can just have it and I don't have to think about it. Oh my gosh, I just helped myself get out of this. Again, this comes back to finding solutions versus shutting yourself down and saying, I can't, right? Plan ahead. Ask yourself ahead of time, where do I usually get tripped up? What can I do this week to set myself up for better success? It always amazes me how, when I coach a client, that I'm kind of talking to them about some really basic fundamentals of just how they're living, right? Like they're like, oh my gosh, I get home and then I don't know what to eat. And I'm like, well, did you have a plan? Well, no. Well, then how did you expect that you were going to know what to eat? Right? Like you have to have a plan. It's kind of like going on a road trip and saying, I'm going to drive from New York to Los Angeles. And you have literally no plan. You don't know where you're going to stay. You don't know where you're going to eat. You don't have a hotel reservation. You don't have a game plan for how you're going to drive there and what roads you're going to take, right? You have to have a game plan a little bit here. It doesn't mean you have to have some rigid, hour by hour meal plan, but it definitely means that you need to be thinking ahead a little bit more and saying, how can I plan ahead for this? Like this week, I know it's going to be a busy week. I know I need to get my walk in this week. So, what can I commit to this week? I know I can't do 7 days. Well, I'm going to do 3 days and I'm going to put it on the calendar just like as if it was a meeting. Set yourself up for that success. A little bit of planning up front creates time for you later on. And it also takes the stress and overwhelm out of you having to figure out what to do when you're tired and stressed. This is what I mean by working smarter, not harder. So when you're in the thick of the week, you're not struggling. And remember, you're not your best self when you are stressed and tired. And so when you are stressed and tired, you're not going to make the best decisions for yourself. And that's when the I can't is going to creep in and you're going to default to the old habits. When life is crazy, when you feel drained, when you're tired, when you're stressed and sleep deprived, right? That's when you're going to make those choices that don't necessarily align with what you want. And what you want is to lose weight, right? So plan ahead a little bit. Number 3, slow down. Many of you are going and stressed, and our society really rewards this behavior. So many women are just not taking the time to slow down. And this is really getting in the way of their success. They're super stressed, they're sleep deprived, they're running off of caffeine all day long, and then they're wondering why they want to eat junk food all the time and they're not losing weight. It's because of your lifestyle. And keto and fasting and macros and meal plans, all those things are not going to fix that problem, right? You got to get your sleep under control. You got to get your stress under control. You got to slow down. This is one of the reasons why my clients, they walk every single day. It's a non-negotiable. They go for at least a 10-minute walk. And one of the reasons why I want them to go for these walks and I tell them to go for these walks is because I want them to de-stress. I want them to slow down and think through things. Not only the walk de-stresses you, but it helps you come up with game plans and plan ahead. It also helps you think through solutions. Oh man, these are all the things that we just talked about, right? So that walking is like literally getting their head right, getting themselves in the game. Right? But most people, what they'll say was, I don't have time. Why can't I? Why can't I go for a 10-minute walk? Why can't I find the time? This is important to me. And we always find the time for the things that are important, right? So it all comes back to challenging yourself and finding solutions. But you do need to slow down. Walking is a great way to slow down. It's also a great way to get movement in. It's good for metabolism, particularly for women who are over 35, particularly for women who are in menopause. We need to be moving more. So there's a lot of reasons why that walk is so good. But one reason that I have my clients do it is so they slow down and start looking for solutions. They start de-stressing and getting stress under control a little bit more, right? So the walk can be something that is incredibly valuable. And maybe for some people that's painting. Maybe for some people that's reading a book or drinking a cup of tea alone and just getting some alone time. Whatever it is for you that works, start doing it. But we all need to take that intentional slowdown in order to get rid of the I can'ts in your life. Because that intentional slowdown will prepare you better and get you in the mind frame of, okay, how can I make this work? How can I find a solution? Why can't I do this thing? Okay. So I hope that this was helpful for you today. Remember, you can't solve weight loss with I can'ts. And I also want to stress to you that if you're somebody who's always saying, I can't, you don't need to look for all the solutions and figure out your mindset and do all of that before you start taking action. My clients are always taking action while they're working on their mindset. They go together. So you have to be doing things, not sitting back and waiting to figure everything out before you start doing things. Start doing things. This is how you learn. This is how you start building momentum over time and start challenging yourself. I don't want to get up and go for a walk every day, but I do it. I put my clothes on as soon as I get out of bed, so I'm ready to go. And even if my mind isn't quite in the game, I know that about 10 minutes into the walk, my mind will probably get there. And I always make that little negotiation with myself. Well, after 10 minutes, if you still don't feel like doing it, you're going to go home, Megan. But that never happens. After 10 minutes, I still want to keep going. Okay? So stop looking for the solutions in the food. Stop looking for the diets, because the diets are not fixing this problem. It's actually making it worse and harder for you. Weight loss is an emotional and a psychological problem, and you can't solve that weight loss problem with meal plans, macros, cutting carbs, or doing Whole30 or whatever. You just can't. I've been doing this for 6 years, and I've tried some of those methods when I first started out, and I started to see that it wasn't working for women. It wasn't getting them the results that they needed. So I stopped doing it, and I totally changed my approach. And now the approach that I use, it really works with women. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Q&A. I've got a few questions from people. Yeah, Katie says, simplify, simplify, simplify. I love my walks. I listen to a podcast. Usually I never regret walking. Yep, amen. That's right. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about questions. So I got a few questions. Let me just see if I can pull a few of them up. So one of them was how to incorporate a sweet treat into your diet while losing weight. So I'm a firm believer that you have to practice eating like a normal person while you're losing weight. Otherwise, the only thing you're learning to do is restrict foods. So weight loss, you have to make peace with foods. You likely have foods that you struggle with, whether it's chips, chocolate, pizza, ice cream. Weight loss comes from overeating. consistently overeating. And so if you're consistently overeating, you have to think about what are the foods that I'm generally drawn to and why am I drawn to them emotionally, right? So if you have foods like that, start adding them intentionally to your plan. I have a whole podcast episode that talks about this, how to intentionally put treats into your plan. It's called Staying Committed to Your Weight Loss. So go watch that podcast episode. It's Dish on Ditching Diets on Apple, Spotify. You can find it everywhere out there where you listen to podcasts. But I talk about staying committed to your weight loss and how to plan your food, including treats, so that you can stay on track. But yes, plan for treats, plan ahead of time for them. Don't just eat them out of a whim or out of a circumstance. Like I had a bad day, I'm going to have a treat. Don't eat them because of that. Another question I got was, how do you lose weight while you are in menopause? Okay. So if you're in menopause or if you're over 35, we're all eating the same way. Fiber, protein, vegetables, water, high volume foods, intentional treats. I've got a couple Instagram posts up where I talk about this. So you can go check out my Instagram, Skinny Fitalicious, and I talk about what are the best hormonal weight loss foods. Start incorporating those foods. I also have a free weight loss class where I talk about, some of the things that you should be doing to lose weight. What a lot of women are doing is they're getting up in the morning, they're starting their day with oatmeal or, an English muffin with peanut butter. And that is not the best way to come at weight loss after 35 because of the hormonal effects that has. And I talk about that in that free weight loss class. Free weight loss class is right above this video. So you can click that link and get the class. But here's the thing, that's an hour class and you have to sit down with a pen and paper and be ready to take notes, be ready to really listen and really get the information that you need from that class. So many people just kind of breeze through that because it's free and you don't really have any skin in the game. Well, there's a lot of helpful information in that class if you just take the time to actually listen to it, but get a pen, get a paper, make notes because there's so much valuable stuff in there. So if menopause is your thing that you're going through right now, you 100% can lose weight. I have clients who do it all the time. Go and watch that free training class and get started with some of the things that I talk about in that free training class. The other question I got was, how do I change my mindset? Do I write it down? Do I say it out loud? What do I do? So we talked today about how to change your mindset. It's why can't I? Every time you say, I can't do this or I can't do that, or you find yourself making a lot of excuses, you're combating yourself and saying, why can't I do this? You're challenging yourself to find solutions, right? A lot of us get into this habit of saying, I fell off the wagon. And then we just kind of let ourselves off. Well, I fell off the wagon, so okay, guess I can't do anything. Guess I'm a failure, right? So instead of falling off the wagon and just keeping yourself off the wagon, you immediately say to yourself, well, what caused me to fall off the wagon? And what can I do differently next time? Right? So again, you're questioning yourself. Again, you are, shifting your perspective from, well, I must be a failure and this is never going to happen, to what can I do differently next time? How can I approach this differently? How can I interpret this differently? Right? If you're always stuck in this negative, pessimistic mindset, you'll always be in the struggle. I guarantee it. So you have to get yourself out of the struggle. I also have a podcast episode that talks about creating a winning mindset. So again, Dish on Ditching Diets, that podcast episode's called Creating a Winning Mindset. And I talk to you about how to create a winning mindset for weight loss for women over 35 in that podcast episode. So I go into a lot of details about that. And if you need links to any of this stuff, guys, drop a comment below and I will try to answer that. A few more questions I got was, I've recently been told I have IBS. Now I am super confused as to what to eat, how to feel better, and how to lose weight. I know there is a huge list of foods off limits. Many of them are very healthy and staples in my diet. This low FODMAP diet is confusing. Well, so first of all, IBS and IBD in general are stress-induced conditions. So instead of looking at the food and cutting out all the food and doing low FODMAP, what you should be doing, first of all, is working on stress, working on sleep, working on slowing down your lifestyle, being really intentional with slowing down, cutting down exercise, Yeah, those, a lot of us are over exercising these days too, and it's causing a lot of hormonal problems. So, slowing down, getting the stress under control. And I know some of you don't want to hear that, but honestly, those are the biggest reasons why women get stuck with weight loss is stress, sleep deprivation, and just not dealing with life properly. Go see a psychologist if that's something that you're having trouble with. If you're having trouble with dealing with stress in life, and there's a lot of people out there struggling with it right now. Honestly, I mean, 2020, gosh, what a crazy year, right? But the other thing I'll have to say too is when you have a condition like, Crohn's or IBS or IBD, the immediate response that a lot of women have is to cut out all the foods and do low FODMAP. Generally, most women are not very successful doing that. And again, it comes back to diet mentality. So when you come at weight loss from a perspective of, I'm going to restrict all the foods, you're always going to gain the weight back and you're always going to villainize food, right? We have to learn how to eat like normal people. So if you're dealing with a condition like this, again, you have to look at the stress in your life and really deal with the stress in your life. And then the second piece of this is you have to fix and heal your body. Like, so many of us have this mindset that, I have IBS, but I'm going to lose weight at the same time. No, you shouldn't be trying to do both at the same time. Weight loss will come later on. You got to heal your body first. You got to slow down with your life. You got to deal with the stress. And 9 times out of 10, most women, when they come at it from that perspective, they get way better results than cutting out foods and going low FODMAP. I am definitely not an IBS certified practitioner. I know about IBS. I know about low FODMAP, but it's not something I specialize in. You can go out there and find somebody who specializes in that. But what I communicated today about, going out and looking for a diet isn't going to fix the root cause here. Why can't I stop stressing? Why can't I slow down in my life? It comes back to your mindset a lot. And it comes back to the mindset of, why can't I lose weight? Well, you can't lose weight because you need to heal your body first, right? So you're trying to go after the weight loss when you need to heal your body first, right? Anytime we're sick, we have to heal the body first. So that's my recommendation. A couple other questions I got was, let me find one of the other questions that I got real quick. If it will come up. And if you have a question while we're going through this, feel free to drop it below in the comments and I'll try to get to it. Let's see. Okay, so how do I reverse insulin resistance? So I have a podcast episode coming out next week that's going to be talking about insulin resistance. And I talk a lot about insulin resistance in my free weight loss class. So again, if you want to know how to reverse it, you want to learn about insulin resistance, watch the free weight loss class. Get a pen and paper, sit down for an hour and watch that class. It's totally free. I'm giving you the information for free. And the other thing is I'm going to be releasing a podcast episode next week about this. But in general, insulin resistance comes from eating too many refined carbohydrates and too much sugar in the diet. And refined carbohydrates are things like fast food, sugar, flour, crackers, chips. Those are the kind of refined carbohydrates that I'm talking about. You want to be eating more of the natural carbohydrates that are actually made by the earth. So I had another question here. Here it is. I was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease about 1.5 years ago and have gained about 50 pounds in that time. I have been on high doses of prednisone and just focusing on survival. Any tips to help me lose the weight as I focus on healing and tapering off my meds? I'm in my mid-40s and have always battled my weight. So, number one, you got to heal your body before you can lose weight. Okay, so when you have an autoimmune disease, a lot of what you're dealing with is inflammation. And the inflammation is, from the autoimmune disease, but it could also be from stress. It could also be from not sleeping enough. It could be from just, having a crazy lifestyle. It also can be from medications that you're taking. And it also can be coming from food, refined carbohydrates, too much sugar in the diet, right? But the key here is that you have to heal your body before you can focus on the weight loss, right? Weight loss is a stress on the body. And I want to stress this to you guys. When you are in a calorie deficit, when you are actually trying to lose weight on your body, it is stress on the body. So if you're putting extra stress on the body while you're already dealing with something like an autoimmune disease, you're going to have more inflammation, you're going to gain more weight, and you're going to be so miserable and stressed and frustrated with yourself. So you got to heal your body first, right? Slow down with your life. Stop stressing. Look for ways to intentionally decrease the stress. Go for walks. Walks are great for de-stressing. And then once you get that under control a little more, then start working on the diet and start doing some of the things in your diet that I talk about in that free weight loss class, because that free weight loss class addresses a lot of this stuff. Okay. And a lot of misinterpretations about what you should and shouldn't be doing when it comes to weight loss. So that link again is above this video. Okay, let me see if there's any more questions from you guys. Nope, it doesn't look like it. Okay, well, I hope that this was helpful for you guys today. And again, if you're watching the replay, let me know if you're watching the replay in the comments. And if you have a question, I will be happy to try to answer your question in the comments. I hope this was helpful. Share, like, all that good stuff if you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll be talking to you soon.